Picture this: Singapore in 1969. A mobile library vehicle sits stranded in floodwaters, its precious cargo of books at risk. This was just one chapter in Singapore's remarkable story of bringing knowledge around corners of our island. It all started with a decommissioned army bus that was converted into Singapore's first mobile library van. The service to bring books to people living in remote areas was first unveiled in 1959. But like many great ideas, it needed time to take root. Staff shortages kept the van parked until the following year. When it was finally launched in September 1960, the UNESCO-sponsored van began serving school children, especially those in rural areas. It had a capacity of 2,000 books and carried titles in Singapore's 4 official languages: English, Malay, Mandarin and Tamil. The response was overwhelming. In just 2 weeks, 2,300 children had signed up as members.
We used to get it maybe once a month or once in a few weeks. A mobile library would come to the school and we were allowed to go up to borrow books class by class. You could only borrow, I think, either 1 or 2 books, and then we return it to the teacher where the teacher collect it so that they could give it as a badge to the mobile library when they come by. And they would check whether you have returned a book before you could borrow the next one.
Once in a while, we would change the collection, not the entire collection. So one of the grouses that some of the frequent readers may have is that it's the same collection.
By 1962, 2 years after the service began, there were 5,000 members. But with success came problems. A lack of staff and money to replace old books led to a temporary closure that year. The service was revived in 1964 when Priscilla Taylor from New Zealand became director of the National Library in 1962. After checking if community centres were good stops for the mobile library, the service started visiting Tanjong Pagar and West Coast community centres every week.
The mobile library started in July, I think, 1964. With 2 service points at Tanjong Pagar. Well, I suppose we chose that because it was a crowded area. Plus, it was the Prime Minister's constituency and would get maximum publicity because of that. And then we chose the West Coast area, which was, of course, a very rural area at that time. And both of them had a very good response. At the beginning, of course, everyone went into the van. It soon became clear that the van was too small. We eventually had the books taken out of the mobile library and put into the community center. The community center would provide the shelves for us for temporary display of the books. And we would set up a counter to record the loan and return of the books.
In 1965, Hedwig Anwar returned as the library's director. That same year, the New Zealand government provided a book grant of 10,000 New Zealand pounds under the Colombo Plan. The money was used to buy over 23,000 books, finally putting 2 unused book trailers to good use. The service reached its peak between 1969 and 1973 with 12 locations, and a new bus was even added to the fleet in 1972. But running the mobile service could be challenging.
I remember there was one big flood in Singapore in 1969. There was a very bad flood, and our vehicle was stalled along one of the highways. Sometimes the van broke down. We chartered taxis, 2 or 3 taxis.
To help manage inflation during the 1973 global energy crisis and streamline mobile library operations, the library closed 3 service points in 1974. By 1979, plans shifted towards replacing mobile libraries with permanent branch libraries in housing estates. This happened because families moved from rural areas to new towns, making mobile libraries less needed. Mobile libraries were also costlier to run and held fewer books than permanent branches. After 26 long years of service, The mobile library ceased operations on 14 January 1991. But the idea of a mobile library service was simply too good to be laid to rest forever. The service was revived in 2008 with additional vehicles added over time. Today, Molly brings books and programs to communities across Singapore, spreading the love of reading and continuing a legacy that began over 6 decades ago.